those of you that don't know, these are TED-style talks, but I would think that you guys would know, because I'm guessing most of you are parents or students who want extra credit. All right. Please laugh. All right, the speakers have worked really, really hard on their topic. Some of them started working on their TED Talks last year, or some of them, like 2 of them, are juniors that have written their talks specifically for this event. All right, some of these ideas have been explored in schools. They have been ideas that they've explored in life. They're pretty cool. All right, special thanks to Grace and Pedro who put together this event, and to our lovely AP teachers. And if you have to leave in the middle of a talk, if you can't stay here for the whole time, please wait between talks or during the intermission. Oh yeah, also speaking of the intermission, you will have a chance to talk to the speakers that are in the first half during the intermission, and a chance to talk to the second part of the speakers after the show. And that's kind of all. I stumbled my way through this the best I could. All right, first off, we have McKenzie Christian, and her topic. Yeah! Cheers for McKenzie! All right, so she's already out here, so I'm not going to keep on talking for too much longer. All right, Mackenzie's going to be talking about distracted driving, something I'm sure all of us, especially the teenagers, are guilty of. All right, here you go, Mackenzie. How do I turn this off? I don't know.
Alright, so there's a pandemic currently affecting the lives of people worldwide. This pandemic injured an average of 421,000 people a year, 1,153 people a day, and by the end of my presentation will have severely injured or killed 192 people. And I can almost guarantee that every single person sitting in this room is guilty of it. I'm referring to the issue of distracted driving. This deadly habit is an alarmingly common one. So common, in fact, that 74% of Americans admit to driving with some sort of distraction, according to the National Traffic Highway Safety Administration. And that's just the people that will actually admit to it. Now, we're all familiar with some very basic forms of distracted driving. For example, eating a quick meal on the way to your destination, touching up on the way to school or work, or maybe you just know a really scary backseat driver. This woman was spotted driving at speeds of up to 75 miles per hour on a busy highway and reading a book. While all of these are seeming ridiculous, these are all very real distractions that happen every single day. But the most common and most dangerous of these actions is the action of texting while driving. Out of an average of 5.2 million crashes a year, 1.6 million of these are due to just talking or texting while driving. That's about 30% of all crashes. Now, it would be pointless for me to try and explain the dangers of texting while driving without first explaining the science behind attention. Attention is a powerful thing that we as human beings have and are able to use. It's what allows us to interact with the world around us, but not become a slave to our environment. It allows us to become alert to new changes in our environment and to make achievements, set goals, and focus them. Now, while I was researching, I came across a video that I think explains an important aspect of our attention systems.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Now, there is an illusion that we can focus on everything at once, but really attention is more like a laser beam than an overhead light. Those of you that were just fooled by this video just heard this very statement. Our ability to focus on multiple things at once is actually very limited. There's an exercise that also highlights this mental block that we have that is called the cocktail party effect. This effect is something that we all use quite often. It's the phenomenon that we title of the cocktail party event. For example, if I'm talking to my best friend here, but I notice a cute guy across the room, I can still be talking to my best friend, but shift my attention to focus on that cute guy. Or I can look at the cute guy, but really have my attention focused on my best friend. This is an exercise in selective attention. It shows a portion of how people have a powerful, even extraordinary ability to direct their focus and to control it. At the same time, the cocktail party effect that I just explained shows the limitations of our attention. After all, you can't really pay attention to conversations at once. In fact, it's so limited that if you're really listening to the person that you're talking to, there are generally only two things you can pick out of the different conversation: the gender of the person speaking, or in some cases, just the sound of your own name. Over the history of attention science, we've come to realize that the brain doesn't actually have an infinite processing ability. It used to be that people assumed this was the case because we had no way to test or prove otherwise. I mean, all that we knew was that the moment something happened to us, say we stubbed our toe, we instantaneously reacted. Thus, we assumed that the brain had an infinite processing ability. As experiments and technology began to advance, we began to realize that the brain did not actually have this infinite processing ability. And we began to realize how slow its reaction time really was. There were major advances in computing and interpersonal communications devices. As we came to these conclusions, and as the two began to come together, we began to realize how significant this was. I mean, put another way, technology was evolving by the day, but the human brain was more or less staying put. Now there is a tension going on inside the brain. It's a kind of tug-of-war between the two different aspects of our attention system, one being called top-down attention and the other being called bottom-up, like I have on the slide. Top-down attention is what we use to direct our focus, say, on a work project, or while listening to the lyrics of a song on the radio, or while driving on the road. It's what allows us to set our objectives and to follow them. Bottom-up attention is very different. It's what allows our attention to be captured instantly, say, by the ring of a telephone, or by the sound of our name, or by a bird flying by. Bottom-up attention operates unconsciously, automatically, by sensory stimulus and contextual cues. Top-down and bottom-up attention are both essential to survival, but so is the balance between them. If we had no top-down attention, we would never be able to set and focus on our important goals. However, without bottom-up, we would never be alerted to new stimuli, including danger. I mean, imagine a caveman being so focused on building his fire that he never saw a lion coming through the woods. Technology has become masterful at capturing our attention. It's not that they necessarily stole it from us or pulled a fast one, but the reason we are so swept up is because our personal communication devices are very good at capturing both our top-down and our bottom-up attention system at the same time, even without our awareness. They bring us stories, engaging our top-down attention system that wants to find answers, complete narratives, and follow tasks. I mean, the narratives are our lives, our work, our relationships. How are things going at work? How are things going with our friends, our children, or our partner? And the devices do it with lights and sounds that capture us beyond our ability to control. They chime, change colors, and images that call to us. They can reinforce our goals, alerting us with new information, but they can also capture our attention when we don't want it to, even when it's very dangerous, like when we're behind the wheel. Now this is where I'd like to make a point. Because our personal communication devices are very good at capturing both of our attention systems, we don't even have to look at our phone while we're driving to be distracted. Just the fact that it went off, and we are alerted to the fact that we got a new text message, we have some new information that's waiting for us to figure out. We are distracted. Our mind is not on the road. There was an experiment done a couple of years ago, and to save us time and energy, I'll just explain the conclusion that scientists came to. They discovered that it takes about 4 seconds after you take your mind off the road to become fully aware of what's going on to a point where it's safe to be driving. Now, going at an average speed of 60 or 75 miles per hour, you have traveled about the length of a football field. And doing that over the course of a drive, maybe 4 to 10 times, I don't know how much you text will drive, but that can become a very dangerous thing. While I was researching, I came across a website. It was basically a family that had lost a family member due to a distracted driving accident, and they had written up their story and posted it online, just kind of a plea for anybody for support for them going through the same situation. And the reaction they got was enormous. There were hundreds and hundreds of people that had commented, all going through the same exact thing, all looking for some kind of reinforcement to try and just help each other out with their grieving process. And I'll read a couple of the first ones for you. The first one was McKenzie. my godson, Enzo Williams, recently died in a car accident. He was 6 months and 15 days old. They were waiting to turn left at a red light, and the driver who hit them was texting and not paying attention. This is Ken H. She says, I lost my best friend, who was also my baby brother, on September 11, 2010, due to distracted driving. So your message hits home hard for me. My brother, a single father of 2, was my next-door neighbor. Every morning he would leave for work around the same time. And now every morning I leave my driveway in tears, knowing that a matter of seconds changed so many lives. This was a picture from the accident of 22-year-old Alexander Height. He was in the process of sending this text message when he drifted into oncoming traffic. His mother, in a recent interview, said, in a split second you could ruin your future, injure or kill others, and tear a hole in the heart of everyone who loves you. This is Liz Marks. She was an average girl at school, went to parties, enjoyed life, and she didn't have any texting or driving problem as people would assume everyone who gets in crashes has. They just, whenever they thought they were having something important happening, just very rarely she would send a text. However, one of those rare times resulted in this crash. The crash that left her blind in one eye and hard of hearing. It also left her with a diminished sense of smell, and she is no longer able to create tears or sleep without medication. She says the most difficult part of all of it was going from being very social and popular to being alone, without friends. This is Jonathan Reed. Don't worry, he's perfectly fine. But his family was all killed in a car accident a couple years ago, and he's now living as an orphan, adopted to a new family. And the text message that ended his relationship with his family forever was, yeah, LOL. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's very good. And I have a hard time believing that you do either. So I urge you, if anything I said today maybe was something that new that you learned, or something that just made sense, please put that in your phone. It's not that hard. Maybe 10 minutes without receiving notifications, without having to know what's going on at that very minute. There's 421,000 lives a year that could be saved just by ending this one deadly habit. Please don't be the next one. Please don't be the cause.